Good morning and welcome to Business Africa Live on BTA. I'm your host, Benjamin Afre. Today we take a look at some business and economic issues happening in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Kenya, and Zambia as well. Some government decisions, some policy decisions that have implications on the economy as a whole, and some other things that are happening in some of these countries. We'll take a short break. When we come back, I'll introduce my guests for this morning to you. Then we'll take our discussions from there. Stay tuned in.
The tourism industry in Ghana is reported to be the fourth highest foreign exchange earner on our GDP list. We will find out what the impact, the identification, development and promotion of tourist sites in the local vicinities where they are located. We also want to talk to the various chiefs and opinion leaders in these communities to assess whether tourism is making a positive or negative impact on the lives of the local people. This is Tourism TV, fact-finding program that seeks to investigate the existing and potential tourist sites. Join me, Ralph Aike, this and every Friday on this wonderful expedition to find out what tourism is all about in Ghana.
Welcome back. So, local distributors are crying about the outsourcing of management of bus to a private entity. Their beef is that they have invested enough for them to have, taken over the running of the facility instead of looking for an external company to do that. To do this discussion and others with me is one of our regular guests, Fred Avonyo, here to do with me. Good morning.
Good morning, Ben.
Thank you, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So you have local bulk oil distributors not happy with, alleged government decision to outsource the management or some aspects of the management of BOS to a private entity that is majority owned by Nigerians. One would ask, do they have a case? They are talking about investing almost $180 million in petroleum product tank farms. So they have the capacity in terms of financially and human resource to manage this. Do they really have a case?
Well, I think I would wish we get the side of BOS on this, so I'm very clear what informed the decision to go for that company, because it doesn't sound too well, particularly at the time that there's been this strong campaign for
local content
and made in Ghana and all of that.
Yeah.
And the information again from the local company suggests that they also have the capacity. They could even some have the expertise that they think are much more than what probably
the new company
might bring on board. So if that is the case, I really want to know what is it that informed the decision to go outside when we have people within that say that they can equally do
because actually
job.
The Ghana Chamber of Bulk Oil Distributors, they insist that their members have the track record, they have the financial and technical abilities, and the skills to manage the facility. So is it also that government or BOS in this instance did not engage them, to find out whether they are even capable of doing that?
Yeah, unfortunately, I've not done enough search on this particular thing to know whether there was even a tendering process and then they won eventually, or whether it was a sole source thing. I would like to search on that. But even that, as a country, I think we shouldn't just pay lip service to the local content and made in Ghana, campaign. Some of these things, if we took a decision, for instance, to use a local player, it will send some very important signals that, okay, really we mean what we're saying, that local content and then made in Ghana.
So it's not just paying lip service to it, but putting it in real action.
Even in certain cases, because of the decision to go to drive this local content issue, you might even sidestep some key things and still push, give preference to the local
because they are trying
players.
to develop
their
capabilities as well.
Yes, and I even heard the current president did mention that they're going to review the procurement law such that they'll give some advantage to the local. And I should be able to see some of these things happen at this stage. But as I said, I think I would have to do some more research on this particular one to find out what's
the real issues are.
But I hope BOST will come out and explain to us, and I also will continue to urge the local guys to also keep making the noise so that we get to know the truth. And if that decision will have to be reversed, it should be. I mean, it's the interest of the country that is paramount.
That's true. It's the interest of the country that is paramount. Now, VRA is also in talks with some other gas suppliers to ease the power generation problems. And for me, it looks like a positive step the VRA is taking. Looking at the current challenges we are having with NGAS, the Nigerian Gas Authority, in terms of powering through the West African gas pipeline. I would see this as a very welcome news because they're looking at alternatives other than what is currently prevailing.
Yeah, it's good they're looking at alternatives because they're not getting enough from NGAS. Yeah. I also hope that they'll get the gas at a very good price.
I think that is what they are talking about now, the pricing.
Yes, because that is equally important. That we don't say that because you're not getting from NGAS, so we'll go and procure at very expensive price. And again, I don't know how that is also going to be very sustainable. And I hope whatever agreement they'll enter into, if they succeed, will be well done so that we don't have challenges that we have with the NGAS currently. Because I know Nigeria itself need a lot of gas.
That's true.
There are a number of independent power producers that are up there and they're also looking for gas. so we're really going to go competing
with those ones.
Yes, with those ones to get the gas. I am hoping, because I've again heard the ministry say that they want to go into the to start importing gas in the liquid form.
Okay.
And because
that was natural gas.
Natural gas. Yes, LNG, very well. Yes, the liquefied natural gas. You're going to bring that in because that we can be able to compress, get more.
Oh, okay.
And so that we can that way we can source from different markets, just the same as we do with crude oil. Although again the liquefied natural gas is more expensive compared to what we probably get from Nigeria. But we need a quantity, because what is happening now is that we have a number of plants that are up. We are expecting some more, and all we need is to power them, so they will be able to run. So if we can get LNG also on board, we can get the infrastructure to get that on board.
But then currently we have issues with, for example, that Tuabo Gas project and its completion date. It seems that we are not even certain if it's likely this year, because this year alone we've had a May 2014 date, we've had a third quarter date. It seems just this morning, it seems that we're not even sure about that third quarter date. Are we capable of really achieving this?
It's sad. It's sad because the last time when they said that, end of this month, April, we should reach the technical completion point.
Yep.
I was hopeful. But I just hope they will finish with that very quickly. But again, the gas we are going to get from Atuabo is not sufficient to power all our plants.
Our plants.
I think we are getting just something enough to power up some of the plants in Naboaze. But of course, it's savings. It's a major savings because we are currently using crude, which is very expensive. So if we're going to reduce the quantity of crude that we're going to use, then at least that's some savings that we're going to make. But so it's okay that we're going to look for other sources of gas. Let's pray that they do the right and they sign the best of agreements. They get a good price, and so that we can have consistent flow of gas.
But why are we depending on only those kind of gas? Those kind of energy sources. Why aren't we considering long-term solar? Why aren't we considering the use of biofuels? Why are we? Because it seems to me we are not getting a lot of attention on those fronts.
all of this that we are doing are to address, they are short-term solutions, and that's not the best way.
Yeah.
We need to be looking at the long term now. And some time ago, it was suggested that, look, we should decentralize power production and distribution.
Okay.
So that, for instance, maybe the whole of Greater Accra would derive their power from a particular source.
And then say
Let's
Ashanti region.
Ashanti
will have
has
a different
yes.
source.
So depending on the locality and what is available. So some will be running on thermal, some will be running on
Maybe solar.
hydro, solar,
You
and all
know.
of that. You can localize it so that even in some cases, it could just be a small community that will be running on biogas,
On the biogas.
because it has a capacity to supply them. You
I'm
know,
actually
we should
hoping
look
that
at our,
even the
our
real
energy
estate
mix.
you
Yes,
know,
our
the
real estate,
companies will look at that direction
Yes.
as well.
so that, you know, and I mean, I keep saying that, look, that's a growing middle income.
It is.
They have the money, they can afford some of these services
That's true.
at a higher price.
That's true.
So let's look at all those dynamics so that people who have the money, let them have those opportunities. And even there are cases where people who have very big plans, that is too big for what they need. And they can
Even share
that,
you know,
get that into the national grid,
grid,
and then
and
share
then-
with those in the area. All these are all things that we should look at, and it should be a long-term planning. You know, because this, for instance, we're going to bring gas from Nigeria,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
they themselves have they've told us that electricity consumption is growing at a rate of 10%.
So they have
So,
their own challenges.
You know, so by the time you bring this gas, it's still even not sufficient, because we're growing, we're expanding. So
Well, for me, it's a challenge to all of us and companies out there to look at, you know, some of these opportunities now. We can't keep relying on ECG alone, or hydro, or just gas. I think that we have to take a look at alternative sources, biofuels, and those things, and see what we can do with it. Because that's, for me, that's the only sustainable way we can do anything with our energy. Now, the GIPC is also encouraging MMDAs, especially in the central region, to develop new investment ideas to promote investment. I see this as something that should have been done long time ago, long time.
I'm wondering,
Empowering the MMDAs to generate enough investment from their districts.
you know, I mean, the whole concept of decentralization. Now, we should get to a point where we get our MMDAs to be self-sustaining.
Yes.
They should look for that. There are resources within that they
Yes,
can harness.
almost every district.
Yes, we all have it.
Almost every district.
I mean,
I don't know if they have, maybe they don't have records of all the resources that they have.
No, I
maybe
think
they
what
don't.
well, yes, they will not have maybe them documented. But you see them, you know where they are.
Exactly.
All
Or
we
maybe
need to
the
do
government
is
is feeding them too much, and there is a need
What we
to
need to
turn this
do
around.
again. So it boils down to the issue of leadership at that local level.
At the local level.
Because you have a leader who can see that, look, these are resources that we can tap. Then, okay, they'll sit there and say, how can we get somebody in? Can we get some funding sources to come and do some work? Let's assess the potentials of these various investments. How can you harness that? You can even organize an investment firm within the locality. You know, after you
That's
have
true.
packaged
You know,
the various projects that you've
yeah.
identified, you
Yeah.
package them,
Yeah.
tell them that, look, if you've invested X amount into this project over this period of time, you're likely to make this returns. So it's an attractive investment. Get people to come into it. And I mean, for all the time, it's at the national level and it's not helping us.
Everything.
So but I'd wish that DIPC itself will go beyond talking and set up an office.
That was the
in
next
those
question I was
districts.
going to ask you, whether they've even lived up to its expectation. Because sometimes it seems to me we are too interested in the foreign partners, foreign investors, than our local people. I haven't seen the GIPC, or I haven't seen them that active on the local front.
Yeah,
Seems to me it's always been
at the
outside.
international
Even
level.
within the African sub-region, I haven't seen GIPC being that very active
we're always
in
going
promoting
outside.
trade. I
I'm
haven't.
just thinking that, look, if they don't have the resources, both manpower and the financial resources to set up in a district, what about training people, inviting people who are willing and interested,
ready to do it.
ready to train them, get them to operate as private individuals promoting investment within their localities. They will get training and some relationship with GIPC, but then they'll operate there. They'll go identify these projects, package them with support from GIPC and set up so that they don't even need to put somebody there who will be an addition to government payroll. But the private individual, it's like the whole idea of a consulate. When an individual will act as a
consul general
for a country because that country hasn't got an embassy there, and will still promote the interest of that country. As an individual, who could replicate such a thing for investment. So you have that person, it's entirely a private person in that locality working together with the GIPC to identify those projects, and we'll get some of these things running.
Well, the solutions are within us. They are nowhere. They are right here. We know them. It's just a matter of implementing those solutions. Sometimes you need to think about, a bit outside the box to come up with some of these things. Like Fred is saying, you don't need to come all the way from Accra to set up, a GIPC center there. You can even use the district assemblies themselves.
Yeah.
But I don't know, well, hopefully, listen. We'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue with our discussions.
The tourism industry in Ghana is reported to be the 4th highest foreign exchange earner on our GDP list. We will find out what the impact, the identification, development and promotion of tourist sites in the local vicinities where they are located. We also want to talk to the various chiefs and opinion leaders in these communities to assess whether tourism is making a positive or negative impact on the lives of the local people. This is Tourism TV, fact-finding program that seeks to investigate the existing and potential tourist sites. Join me, Ralph Aike, this and every Friday on this wonderful expedition to find out what tourism is all about in Ghana.
Business Television Africa is your television network that provides you with quality programs, innovation and technology to advance the African dream and the high quality of life. On Business Television Africa, you get to hear the true stories of business people in Africa and in the world. BTA is in French.
J'aime regarder Business Television Africa.
And English. You can watch Business Television Africa via satellite or on First Digital Box.
Welcome back, viewers. We are just going through some of the stories happening in Ghana and some other countries. We take Nigeria, and high interest rates is killing their economy, says the organized private sector. I don't think this is new.
No, it's not. I think even the average interest rate is still better than ours. So
it is.
Yes.
It is. I think it's about 12%.
No, I'm talking
the central
their
bank.
lending. Yeah, no, but their lending rate is also around 20.
I think about 22.
Yes, and we are at 25. So,
Yeah.
so
That is the minimum. The bank's rate. 25.
So I mean, they are still better. But of course, I mean, they are competing. We're in a global world now. So if you are doing 22 and you're competing against someone who is doing 5% and below, obviously you're out of business from the very beginning. So it is important that that issue is addressed. But again, it's not a case of bringing down the policy rate. It is creating that economic atmosphere that will bring down the rates, because I mean the rates are priced based on inflation, cost of funds, and all of that. So if cost of fund is high, if inflation is high, and you think you bring down the policy rate and interest rate will drop, it won't work like that. So we just hope that the new central bank governor for Nigeria.
For Nigeria. I think
Would
he takes office from June. I think.
Yeah. Would work and create
Well,
the environment that will bring down interest rates because it's killing. I mean,
I don't know. I don't know where we are going with all these high interest rates, especially in the African terrain.
yeah.
I don't know where we are going. But interestingly, Nigeria has rebased their GDP, and they've shot up from about 263 billion by the World Bank
Yeah.
as of 2012 to between 384 and 424 billion.
Yeah.
You know, Ghana did the same.
Yes.
And ours jumped to about 31 billion, almost 75% increase.
Increase.
Zambia has done the same. Theirs has moved up
Yeah.
to about 24 billion.
Yeah.
And
I think Nigeria also recorded about 75%.
Yeah, Nigeria has gone,
Yeah, so
that,
it's also
no,
dead.
there's about 60, almost
Yeah,
60%.
so-
But the question I ask is it good news? If it is, what effect does it have? Because it's as if, as we were discussing before our show, if you are weighing 70, no, if you are weighing 80,
Yes.
but you're using a false scale that is giving you 70, and you just get a scale that gives you the corridor of 80, maybe you haven't done anything.
Yeah, no, really. I mean,
anything.
there are two things. I mean, one, it means that you've had a very poor system of measurement, and
Okay.
that is not that. I mean, that is
That's not
worrying.
good. Yeah.
That's not good. The positive side is that okay, now you know who you are.
Who you are.
I mean,
How much you are
supposedly,
worth.
anyway, supposedly,
That's
because
on paper,
we
isn't
can't.
it?
We can't even guarantee that the figures that we have after the rebasing is accurate.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but we are assuming that okay, now we have a fight. You know, it's like maybe you are sick, you're going to the hospital, you don't know your right age, so you go and mention that maybe you are 12 years old when you're actually 18, and you are
18.
given an injection for a 12-year-old.
12-year-old, yeah.
So if today you know that you are really 18, and then you get a prescription for an 18-year-old, that is the positive side of it. But beyond that, again, it's statistical growth. It's growth on paper.
But it has some very
So-
negative impacts. If you take a look at Ghana's case, for example, some soft loans, some grants you are getting, once you rebase and you are what they call middle income, middle level country now,
you
don't get those things.
Yes, you don't.
You borrow
need
at
to.
commercial terms.
Yes.
So then you also have a challenge then.
Of course. I mean, there are the negative sides to it because then you are no longer treated as a poor country, so to speak. So you get off those facilities. But those facilities also had so much constraint anyway. You were limited how you could use them and all of they had a number
So
of
then we should
limitations.
be
So
rather looking at how effectively we can manage our taxes, mobilize taxes,
you know,
revenue
that's
from within.
the way, again, I go back to the adverse effects of partisan politics on us, where today
everywhere.
almost everybody is talking about economic indicators. Now, we don't eat indicators. They are telling us, they are giving us an idea. Okay, so let's move away from looking at that.
Look at the real issues.
Yeah, real issues, the real economy. You see, so again, fine, we've grown by X percentage. It gives an idea. Inflation is gone to this level. It gives us an idea and all of that.
Yeah.
But that should not be they are just a sense of direction.
There shouldn't be an end in
Yeah,
itself.
there shouldn't be an
They should
end.
rather be guiding.
It shouldn't be that you come and say
way.
that okay, my aim is to grow this economy by 8%.
8%.
And so then you focus on that growth because you can achieve growth with very negligible effect on the people.
on the people.
And I think that's what has happened to us largely. We've grown, but our infrastructure is still terrible. We don't have anything that matches that of a lower middle income.
No.
And it is very possible that our GDP will take us to a situation where we become a full-blown middle income,
but
and
still-
our road, our
No, but,
hospitals will still be in shambles.
interestingly, with the rebasing of the Nigerian economy, they potentially will be bigger than South Africa.
Yes.
However, infrastructure-wise, South Africa is way ahead.
Way
In terms of even
ahead.
per capita, South Africa is also much bigger than Nigeria. So even though Nigeria will be big in terms
As an
of the economy,
yes.
in terms of his real impact on the people, we haven't.
You see,
there isn't
so that's
much
how
to write
I mean,
about.
and we all know the limitations of using like per capita income or
Yeah,
the size of
yeah,
your economy
yeah.
as a measure of
As a
wealth.
measure of wealth, yeah.
It doesn't work, and that's how come we have this human development indices that you can follow and see. Okay, how many hospitals per
Yeah,
population?
yeah,
You know, police per population, recreational facilities per population. Those are the things we should be looking at for, and see what are the roads? What's the quality of the roads? Do you have enough roads to run an effective public transport system? What is the state of public transport? Those are the things we should be looking at, and not going strictly after GDP growth,
corruption, weak governance, those things, infrastructure bottlenecks.
We've fallen too much in love with statistics, and it's hurting us. So fine, it's good they know the size, supposedly. I keep saying supposedly because for all you know, after another 2 years, they'll do rebasing and to go up by 80%.
But if that's the case, then they should be getting some more taxes, or better so managing their revenues.
Yes,
better,
because immediately what happens is that their tax to GDP ratio will drop.
Yes.
All those ratios will look bad now.
That is true.
And they have to work
to bring them up, to that level where you are supposedly
and even the growth rate, because when you are growing a bigger economy, it's difficult. And I think partly that's why Ghana is going through this challenge. We can't grow at those 12% so easily because you are a bigger economy now.
But it's also, I think it's also because you have probably too many foreign investors, or you are importing too much and not exporting enough. Okay, in that situation, you're not even making enough revenue to be able to develop your own country. So you may have a huge GDP, but mostly driven by foreign investors.
Yes, that's a basic challenge, and we know. When you take Ghana for instance,
and I think that is why there is a need to promote this local
content, participation
properly, and get people to be. Look, interestingly, I was at the furniture shop yesterday. I was amazed at the kind of machines and equipment they have.
Okay.
They are not really in business now, but the quality of their finish, I'm sure will compare anywhere in the world. Yeah. But this company is not really up and doing, or they are collapsing. Yeah. And what comes into mind is, what can we do to help such a company come back? Because if you look at the quality, there is no way they can't match up anywhere in the world. Yeah. The quality of the finish, the quality of their products, the wood that they use, the kind of equipment that they have there, it's amazing. Yeah. Why can't we help such companies?
We should be helping them. But again, we are all important, and it's sad. I was listening to somebody who had worked within the furniture industry and was complaining that in the past, the ministries were procuring furniture from them. Now they've stopped. They're all going to China. How do you run a country like that? And we expect to see real growth. It's not going to happen.
Amazing. Well, let's take our final story on Uganda, that they have joined Nigeria and Kenya in developing a derivatives trading market. Okay. It seems very exciting for the Ugandan economy.
Yeah,
they're going to trade currency, commodities,
and all
those things. Yeah,
I was particularly enthused about the Ugandan one because they don't even their market. Even it's a very small market that they have, and so for them to add derivatives, listed, for them to go into the derivatives market, that sounds interesting. We'll see how that will impact on their market. There's Kenya, which is close by. They are doing pretty well, and they're also going to derivatives as well. So we'll see how that will work out. We don't know what will happen in our case here in Ghana, because we've had discussions on this.
For Ghana, what I'm aware is that a new bill for amendment has been put to Parliament. Hopefully, they've gone away. I'm hoping that when they come back, they pass that. That is supposed to open the door for some of these things to happen on our market. So hopefully, we should see that.
Because I know there have been a lot of discussions on that. They brought in a few experts to come and talk about derivatives and all of that.
I think we've done a couple of those things, but we haven't seen a real action yet. Well, hopefully we should be able to get the SEC of Ghana one of these days to come and let us see what is really happening.
And we hope that when that happens, we see a lot of Ghanaians, or even Ugandans playing active parts
in that.
Yes,
and not just foreign
participant coming in.
Well, Fred, thanks a lot. Today we don't have too much time, but grateful for coming to join us on our show. It's always good to have you, and I'm hoping that we'll have a much lengthier discussion soon. But it's always good to have you on our set.
Yeah, thank you. We hope things get better.
That is my prayer, and I can assure you that we bring you some more exciting news. You know, I've told my producer, I want some more exciting news on our set, and I'm sure you'll be seeing some of these things very soon happening. It's been your show, it's been our show. Thanks for being with us this morning. I've been your host, Benjamin Afre, on Business Africa Live on BTA. Stay tuned in, enjoy the rest of our programs, and have a good day. See you same time tomorrow.